somebody strike a match, because we got TNT in Stadium Court as we get set for the final match of the day of the Manhattan Beach Open. This first day of action. Tim Bomgren and Troy Field, TNT back together in 2024, and we are so stoked to see them. This is the Contenders bracket as we are closing out the first day of the MBO, and they've got a nice competition in front of them. Raffe Paulis on one side, as well as Big Mike. Mike Groselle will be their opponents. Hi everyone, I'm Cameron Irwin alongside the Olympic gold medalist Rich Lamborn, and TNT back together again. These two can no doubt bring the energy.
Yeah, certainly that is kind of their hallmark, right? Timmy's a little more reserved, but Troy is always the showman, and they'll be looking to put on a little display here. Contenders bracket, not probably where they want to be on a Friday, so they've got a solid task in front of them. And there's our guy. We'll talk about him a little bit later, but he's kind of leading the ship down there in the box for the boys. Yeah, like you said, Big Mike Groselle, Raffe Paulis, no walkovers, so they've got to take care of some business here while bringing the thunder, right?
Absolutely. They got a good coach in their box. Of course, the one, the only Casey Patterson. We'll get more as we are so thrilled to have Casey Patterson back on the AVP sands, working as a coach for these two. But Tim Bomgren rocking that lefty. He has just been one of the absolute professionals in this game for years and years and years, and it almost seems as if his game never really declines.
Yeah, very true. He and Billy Allen, kind of those consummate professionals that seem to stay steady the whole time.
Without a doubt. Well, there's a look to the other side. Big Mike and Raffe Paulis on the opposite. We've got Mark Sherman down on the sand to get this party started.
Uno más. One more match here on Stadium Court. One more team to send home and one to send to Saturday. Let's meet the players, shall we? And this first guy, originally out of Plano, Texas, he was an absolute beast of a basketball player in college at the Citadel, and he has brought that energy here to the beach. Ladies and gentlemen, he is Big Mike. He is Mike Groselle. And his partner, originally out of Chicago, Illinois, now here in the sunny South Bay, the former TSA agent. Yes, he was that guy. Also, fun personality quirk. No matter how many times he meets you, he will introduce himself as if he is meeting you for the very first time. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for Raffe Paulis. And their opponents, oh yeah, here we go. First guy coming out of Woodbury, Minnesota. His whole family is with him this weekend, and he's staying in a sweet spot down by the beach in Hermosa Beach. Man, how did you get that hookup? Ladies and gentlemen, such a fun guy to watch. Let me hear it for Tim Bomgren. And his partner always brings the energy, brings the fun out of Laguna Beach, California. You know him, you love him. Ladies and gentlemen, let me hear it for Troy Field.
I mean, TNT is getting this place rowdy already. Tim Bomgren made the trek across the sand, gave each one of his kiddos a high five, including his wife, Lindsay. They're ready to roll.
Look at the little one there, just rocking out to AC/DC too, knows Dad's theme song.
The littlest hanging out just a diaper. Come on, man.
Yeah, he still doles out the high fives, though.
There's a look at Raffe Paulis starting this thing off. This is a Contenders bracket matchup. Win or go home. And there's the elevation. The air is just a bit thinner up there for Troy Field.
It really is, yeah. He gets out of the sand. It's very impressive. And like we were saying, this isn't where they expected to be maybe late on a Friday. Tough one against Paul Lottman. Billy Allen a little bit earlier put him here, so it's always one of those weird things as you go through a double elimination bracket, right? You lose earlier than expected. You got to really collect yourself and get back to business, or your tournament could be
Yeah, and it's also kind of that tough spot, right? Because they pick up the win in their first round against Dentler and John Michael Plummer. There's a good dig. Oh, what in the world was that?
Yeah, I mean, that's a good play. It wasn't somewhere that Raffe could track it down, much to Big Mike's dismay, I think. But it isn't, you know, I mean, people maybe think that looks weird because he kind of is attacking there. But as long as you're in a blocking motion, you can contact it twice in a row.
Ace serve for Troy Field. But to your point, they ended up facing off against Billy Allen, Paul Lotman, and because they are that 8-9 seed, that's a pretty tough second round matchup, right? But in talking to Paul Lotman yesterday, he goes, honestly, we kind of want to see TNT. They wanted a little piece of them. Found that third set, 15-9. As Paulis slithers one by.
That almost makes me think of the old Seinfeld thing with George Costanza's dad, Jerry Stiller. You're not going to get just a piece of me. You're going to get the whole thing.
You can guarantee Rich Lamborn's going to come with the quotes. Be it show or movie. Or rap lyrics. Those two.
Yeah.
Big fan of Sir Mix-a-Lot, in case anyone was wondering.
Old school Sir Mix-a-Lot, yeah.
2-4 though. I mean, in terms of TNT, this is a team that was once previously together. They kind of went different directions as Tim Bomgren lives in Minnesota full-time with his family, doesn't necessarily train here in the South Bay often, but this team somehow finds ways to continue to connect as they got back together.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's kind of what we were talking about with the Billy Allens and the Tim Bomgrens. How do they do it without kind of training full-time, you know, in air quotes, right? Billy's coaching, Tim's a mechanical engineer, I think.
And dadding.
And dadding, yeah. Right, and they still manage to play at such a consistent and such a high level.
Paulis finding a bit more of the net. There's a good angle for the lefty. Tim Bomgren having played his first tournament on the AVP back in 2013.
Yeah, it used to be a full family affair. He and his brother Brian coming out here together for a lot of years and being the fly in a lot of people's ointments throughout their time together.
That's up and over the top for Mike Groselle. But to your point, I think Brian is spending a bit more time on the golf course than the volleyball court now.
Who can blame him?
Mike Groselle, former basketball player out of Citadel.
And line. Yes, Raffe.
Raffe's on it, but didn't find two hands.
Yeah, that is an appropriate nickname for Groselle. Big Mike. It's not one of those ironic things where you call the overweight guy tiny. He is a big dude out there.
6'8", Mike Groselle, out of Plano, Texas. Push set. And Troy Field dropped his hands. I thought he probably thought that was going wide.
Yeah, I think he was a little out of position, so he wasn't really going to be able to get in front of that. Didn't want to give Raffe anything to hit off of. Maybe hope for a mistake. Did not get it. Raffe thumped that one. The Citadel, that's not the big shopping mall on up the 5 freeway, right?
I mean, it is that too, yes.
So I didn't know they had a basketball team.
There's a court in the middle of the mall.
Yeah.
Troy Field trying to work that down the line on the right side on the attack. Groselle and Paulis have spent some time together this season playing in the Contender Series events. Virginia Beach, Wapaka, and Denver. The Bets finished this year of a 9th. Here goes TNT. Little cross-body down the line.
That was set up the whole time for Troy to do that, right? You could see Big Mike kind of early in that angle. Troy likes to go hard across the body, away from the body.
elevation for Troy Field. This is a duo that made it all the way to the semifinals in Huntington Beach, our first event in 2024. They're in a 3rd place.
Yeah, really nice timing as we get another look at that block from Troy Field. A little bit of a delay. He was still on his way up, just smothering that line shot.
High over the top and out of bounds, but Rich, we have to talk a little bit more about the league, because sitting in 3rd place right now is Tim and Troy in terms of the top teams. Taylor Crabb, Taylor Sander already booked their ticket to the league, having won Huntington Beach. If you win a Heritage Series event, you are headed off to the league right away with an automatic bid. In 2nd place right now is Cody Caldwell and Sean Cook in terms of points, and Tim Bomgren, Troy Field in 3rd, with a little help because of the mix-up that we saw with Tri Bourne and Kame Shock no longer partners.
Yeah, both Cody Caldwell, Sean Cook, and TNT sitting in good positions, but they would love to kind of back up those Huntington finishes here in Manhattan Beach, because it is your best 2 out of 3, of course, so nothing guaranteed for anybody other than the Taylors as of yet.
Look again at Casey Patterson, long career on the AVP. Never forget the retirement for Casey Patterson. It was a beautiful display at the championships in Phoenix. Got to do it in front of a massive crowd.
Yeah, I think he's such a great guy for this particular duo to have in their box. I mean, Timmy is just kind of solid and even keel, but Troy is pretty fiery, and I would think in a lot of ways aspires to be what Casey was, which is kind of that entertainer that's also playing at a great level. And he's got the entertainment part down, and so it's just the piece that's missing from time to time is that solid, consistent high level that he's capable of, but can he kind of showcase it match in and match out?
Yes! And housing the attack of Raffe Paulis. Again, Troy Field throwing the finger in the air.
I think he's maybe sarcastically whooping up the Raffe Paulis fans, because that was kind of the area that Raffe was saluting on his introduction.
Quick set to the middle. Paulis is all over it. It's got to go. Too much poke.
Just missed that one. Some nice control on the tomahawk from Timmy Bomgren. That's, you know, I mean, that's one play. I hate to assign too much importance to it, but those are the kind of plays where Troy sometimes tries to do a little bit too much, tries to make the flashy play rather than just make the good play. You guys are rolling defensively. Make your opponents earn their side out.
I think that ball only hit the tip of his middle finger.
Yeah, well, and it hit it at about 12 feet off the sand. You know?
Check out this contact point. They stay on Troy Field. Troy very quick after the pass to get, he gets quite an angled approach. Some people like to kind of come straight on, a little bit more angled, or in his case, a lot more angled. What's the difference on kind of some of the nuances to your approach angle?
I think if you're a right-handed player on the left side, you need some angle. How much is a bit of a preference thing, but you want to be coming into the ball so that it's on your hitting shoulder, and if it happens to be short or, you know, too far inside, let's say, you can still go get it. Right? If you come straight in and it's not kind of perfectly there, if it kind of goes over to your left shoulder, you're a little bit compromised and your range is diminished a little bit.
See if they stay on Troy. Instead, they go the opposite direction. Here's Tim. But you would think, this is what's interesting too, you would think that maybe if you have a lefty on the right side, wouldn't you think they would kick out to the right? But Troy comes straight, or Tim comes straight in there too.
Yeah, he's, I would argue that he's a little bit unorthodox, because I think typically if you see a left-handed player on the right side, you will see that same kind of outside to in. And conversely, if you see right-handers on the right side, they pass and kind of get inside so that they're still taking that angular approach to the outside of the court. Timmy's more of a straight up and down guy and kind of work the ball around, see if we can get some Casey Patterson inside.
Don't forget about the biotin. And an immunity support blend with zinc, vitamin A, vitamin C, boosts your metabolism with a rainstorm. Now, rainstorm match of the day. And that means rainstorm reusable chairs between sets. As our fantastic intern Colby looks for contestants for musical chairs.
Come on. I'm gonna go for a wipe. Can I get a wipe for you? I'm so sorry.
Hope you're enjoying the insights of the one and only Casey Patterson. The Swab Hawk in full effect, as you can see, just some of the accolades. There are numerous for Casey Patterson, the 2016 Olympian and the 2016 Manhattan Beach champion, alongside none other than Jake Gibb, who, in fact, we saw in Huntington Beach at our first event. 18 AVP wins, 2 internationally as well.
That was an exciting win there in 2016. I should say here, because he kind of went and celebrated with a VIP box that was populated entirely with kind of legends of the game, Stoklos, OB. A bunch of guys were there to kind of revel with him.
Nice chase there. Not enough speed, though, for Tim Bomgren. Paulis is just sending the ball back now.
Well, it was a smart play. You can see Timmy's on the ground, wide open court. Good pursuit, but well-placed shot from Paulis. Now, you were saying you thought you saw that Casey Patterson still had the shrink wrap on his notebook, so what was he using it for? I'm joking.
Go.
Is he over? They're going to say that ball's in the sand, and ball was not over the plane of the net. I don't know about that one.
You think it was all the way over? I mean, you just need a sliver on top. It's tough to tell from our vantage point, of course.
You know, I like to poke the bear a little bit, too.
Yeah, it's pretty infrequent, I feel like, that players play balls that are entirely on the other side of the net, especially in kind of a scramble situation like that was.
It's fair. Tim Bomgren continuing to side out cleanly here, the 4-point advantage. I don't know if there's a better story to describe the grit of that man right there than what he did in Austin in 2018.
That was a fun one.
There's the ace for TNT.
Yeah. And if you don't know what that was, he rolled his ankle much worse than we thought, and just kind of swallowed hard, taped it up real tight, and continued to play, made it all the way to the finals, only falling to Phil and Nick in the end.
And that was with Taylor Crabb, was it not? His partner. So Tim was up at the net blocking.
Yeah.
Like, you want to talk about versatility? He's got it all.
Yeah, he was an absolute beast that weekend, and kind of a pleasure to rub shoulders with. Kind of, you know, it's always interesting when you see players on the other side of the net from you, and then when you get to kind of get a glimpse into what makes them tick throughout matches, especially difficult situations. There was a weather delay that we faced against Jeremy Casebeer and Reed Pretty at one point that actually ended up helping us out a lot, I think. But they went through, yeah, he and Taylor went through some interesting circumstances.
It was hot, I remember that much, and very humid, and then all of a sudden it got cold, and there was a massive gust that came in with a thunder and lightning storm. We had to wait out. Almost a little reminiscent of what we saw here in 2023 with Hurricane Hillary. That was just a whole heck of a lot of rain.
Yeah. Yeah, not that anything is great for a badly sprained ankle, but none of those conditional changes certainly helped.
I mean, they continue to stay on Tim. Where do you go if you're Paulis and Groselle at this point? Down by 5.
Yeah, you have to serve a little bit tougher, I think. Because right now, just picking a guy and kind of going right to him, not working, Tim in a good rhythm. Troy's been in a nice rhythm as well. So you've really got to try and find some middle serves, some short sidelines, something to make TNT move around a little bit at the very least.
Yeah, and I might actually look the direction of field. Currently hitting 222, whereas Bomgren is at 667.
Oh. Almost 3 times as good.
Guys, he can count. He did use his fingers, but
we got there.
A little bit of a unique serve from Tim Bomgren. Check down and over the top. I mean, how many other people have you seen serve like this, where he actually adds a little bit of spin on the toss, but then flattens it out on the contact?
Yeah, I like that, because he can come over the top of it. It's one of those weird things, you know. I mean, again, that's just kind of a preference.
Yeah.
But it is good, you know, to give different looks. He's got that same toss, tried to go over the top of it there, just found the net. Some people like taking the spin off of a spinny toss, you know, rather than just kind of the knuckleball toss, knuckleball floater.
Groselle and Paulis still trying to find a little something here in set 1. However, 20-14, set point for Field and Bomgren. Bomgren and Field. Check this out. You got Field at the service line, Bomgren at the net. Give him a block, Timmy. Oh, out of bounds. He pulled the hands at the right time. 21-14. Fantastic work and quick work for Field and Bomgren.
Yeah, very much so. Not a lot of pushback on the other side in that one.
These two have the right direction at this point. Casey Patterson's got them going where they need to be. They're just one set away from moving on in the Contenders. The AVP Manhattan Beach Open is brought to you by Rainstorm Clean Energy. Great flavor, zero sugar. And by Wilson, the official ball of the AVP.
How about a little magic, huh?
There is no better place to be than right here on the AVP. Whether you're an athlete, a broadcaster, or especially a fan, this is so fun. Everyone having a good time alongside Mark Sherman. How about some musical chairs? Added competition.
I think one of our chairs bit the dust.
I think it's the sand. The silica. All right, who's your pick? Red, black, or green? Or excuse me, white, black, or green?
Ooh. Yeah, I'm going to go white. All right.
Oh. I don't know. Is that clean?
That is
allowable?
yeah. There's kind of, the goalposts move a lot with Mark's rules, I think, in musical chairs.
I'm hearing from producer Ange, the winner will receive a rainstorm pop-up tent. No wonder they're going for it. Hopefully the pop-up tent is a little more durable than the actual chair.
Right? Yeah, both of these guys seem ready to try and yank the chair out from under the other guy. Curious to see how Mark mediates this.
Yeah, I don't know if Mark is going to be able to contain these two. Oh, it was a little anticlimactic.
I think DJ Raffe had enough of this contest.
That's probably fair.
Usually we get a lot of, we get minimum of 4 pump fakes.
I was just hoping for a little bit more Sir Mix-a-Lot chosen. And there's a look at it. The winner chicken dinner, or winner pop-up tent.
There you go.
There's your numbers for set 1. It was all about the 8 seed Bomgren and Field over the 23.
Yeah, those are some good numbers. I mean, 474 is a good clip. The 3 blocks and the 1-to-1 aces to errors ratio, that's good stuff. 2 errors, obviously not excessive on the side of Groselle and Paulis, but they need to see if they can't generate a little bit of service pressure here in this second set if they hope to keep up.
Aces to errors as well. Bomgren and Field adding some pressure from the service line. We hope you've enjoyed day 1 coverage of the Manhattan Beach Open. We've seen some pretty phenomenal competitions here on Stadium Court, including the last, as the A team picked up the win in 3 sets played. Bomgren's getting a little extra coaching though right now, courtside, as he goes back to his family.
Need a little extra fist bump from the diaper kid.
He is jamming right now. We need a camera on that kid.
Is that kid actually 7 years old? He's just really small, or I mean, he seems mature beyond his years over there.
Yes, does get it right on the line. Nice shot, Raffe. He'll serve one up.
There's the little one. Let's see if we can get it right behind Troy. Yeah, I guess we should probably focus on those two anyways. Tim Bomgren, I think it's so fun. What makes this sport unique is the fact that you don't always have to bomb the ball, and Tim Bomgren is a perfect example. And Taylor Crabb, like, you might see them take, what, maybe 2 swings for an entire match?
Yeah, it's philosophically, I'm going to have something to say about that. You are correct that you can get away with that. I think you have to establish the hits in order to make your shots as effective as they can be. But it is very true that if you use good vision like Tim does, like Taylor does, you can kind of work the ball around at less than full capacity, so to speak.
Dependent on the opponent, which is fair.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
That is very true as well, yeah.
Nice block, but better cover. Groselle and Paulis come away with a fantastic point.
Yeah, really nice move at the net, but like you said, a better cover. So important to get those little plays to go your way.
Falling set, a la Phil Dahlhauser. That's all intimidation from Tim Bomgren.
Yeah, it was, it was a tremendous set that started that play off from Timmy Bomgren. You think Big Mike was intimidated up there?
He had Bomgren up at the net.
Yeah, that's one of those instances, though, going back to the kind of soft shot versus heavy attack, that I like to see people swinging at.
Big Mike just got bit by the sand shark.
Yeah. Somebody grabbed his big toe while he was trying to approach on that one.
Seen that a handful of times today, actually. A couple serves on the women's side, kind of getting tripped up on their way in.
Yeah, there must be something on that far side of the net.
They've all been on that side. Big swing, bigger dig. Tim Bomgren putting on a show.
Yeah, excellent control, great positioning defensively there from Bomgren.
I mean, you got Casey Patterson in the box. I think it's time for a little scoop and score.
Scoop and score, yeah, that one of the best to ever do it. Casey Patterson at 6'6" with an 8'9" standing reach.
What's the call from him, right? Free ice cream?
Free ice cream. Well, yeah, that's on the dig, but I mean, he was so proficient with his length at putting the ball away in transition, and that's Yeah, no, there's a lot of elements on defense, right? You want to make good reads. You want to get in good positions. You have to have good control on the contacts, but then you have to have that great vision and good aggressiveness in putting the ball away in transition as well. He and Jake, two of the best to do that in combination.
I was just about to ask, who have been some of your all-time greats in terms of transition? As there's the ace from Raffe Paulis.
Yeah, that's a great serve, corner to corner. Yeah, I mean, you know, you think of the Todd Rogers, those type of players. When you think of great defenders, I think people's opinions are swayed, and rightfully so, by not only digging a lot of balls, but being able to convert those into points. Because you can dig balls all day long, and if they don't turn into points, they're going to be quickly forgotten. So yeah, Raji would certainly be one. You got Sinjin, of course, going back. MD, of course. We're getting into the kind of the legend section of the game, but Casey Patterson's right up there as well.
6-4.
Keeping this second set a little closer here are Groselle and Paulis. There's a look to the Bomgren family.
We finally gotten the diaper man to calm down a little bit.
And a heads up as the ball trails their direction. Yeah, it took the binky and a stuffy.
Spinky and a stuffy.
See if we can sneak those words into this broadcast.
Right, Troy
Stuffy's
almost got
easier.
the stuffy. Yeah.
I don't want to know how you're going to use binky.
I just binkied off with his left hand there. A little wide.
I feel like it could be a poke shot.
Yeah.
The crossbody turn.
There's, again, a nice crossbody swing from Troy.
How do you feel like his game has developed since his time?
Troy?
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, he constantly keeps adding to it. You know, the physical tools are all there. Like I kind of talked about earlier, it's just sort of a matter of reining in some of his abilities. You know, it's sometimes you can have too many choices, so to speak, right? He can do all these amazing things, but can he make the good decision rather than the flashy decision or something? There's a guy who had all the tools as well and made all kinds of great decisions on the volleyball court.
Sean Rosenthal, aka Superman.
Yes, that is in there. We'll take a switch at 8-6.
And you could argue that Rosie had probably more choices as to what to do on a volleyball court than anybody else to ever play. I mean, right-handed, left-handed. I mean, the guy could do any and everything on a beach volleyball court. There he is. And now he's got the Rage All Night hat on.
Seems about right.
Yeah, choices of a different form.
Guarantee Rosie's Raiders are around here somewhere. Good look at Big Mike yet again coming in with a solid swing.
Yeah, that's a nice example, though, taking a nice aggressive swing. Troy was kind of delaying, waiting for the shot, never got off the ground.
High set, and Troy Field sends one to the sand. This team of Tim and Troy, they actually had a really solid season back in 2019. They were even the Volleyball Mag Breakthrough Team of the Year. But Tim Bomgren still looking for his first major title. He does have an AVP championship to his name. It was Virginia Beach back in 2022. At the time of a Pro Series event.
Timmy with the read.
And there again, Big Mike softening up a little bit. Timmy all over it. Easy put away in transition. Even with Troy emphatically calling line. Trusting his vision.
If you're wondering about Troy Field, he's made it to Championship Sunday 4 different times, at least all the way to that final, that is. His best finish is a second place. He's not been able to take home a championship yet.
Always a bridesmaid.
Troy Field. Detonates. It's time for Pound Town to wake up.
I mean, that was full TNT. Wally Bomgren giving him a high five. That was spectacular.
Check out this approach. He throws his feet down in the sand almost simultaneously.
Yeah, he does kind of have that very beach-esque approach where he kind of hops on both feet rather than doing just kind of the right-left. But man, he can spring out of the sand, and he destroyed that ball.
I mean, this guy can touch the bottom of the pier. Which, by the way, is 928 feet long.
Is that a fact?
It is.
Okay.
Would you like to know more?
Sure.
Built from 1917 to 1920. Roundhouse for Troy Field.
It's worth the same point as that bounce ball, Troy.
Yeah, the last two plays are an amazing microcosm of Troy Field. Absolute destruction, hard angle, and then he tries to go with the windmill for some reason, and it sends it long.
Watching Ingapet.
Chicago with 2 first-class airports.
That guy's a back-to-back gold medalist. There's a little bit of a difference in execution in the skills.
Over 1,100 daily flights, over 250 non-stop cities worldwide. O'Hare and Midway are hubs for 3 of the largest U.S. carriers, American, Southwest, and United, but also accommodates more than 50 airlines in total. You can take the airline of your choice to Chicago, to the Chicago Open. Visit flychicago.com. And we will see you, hopefully, in Chicago on Labor Day weekend. DJ Boucher will be there. I will be there. Producer Daniel will be there. Producer Chris won't be there. Lane.
Not the bounce ball.
Raffe Paulis, the former TSA agent, now 38 years old, originally out of Chicago, Illinois.
I always, hopefully he understands it's in fun. Joke with him that he went from a TSA agent to a guy that looks like he'd be at the top of a TSA watch list.
Rich Lamborn. There's a good dig from Paulis. And an even better swing. But to his credit, too, he's talked about just some of his upbringing and grew up in Chicago in the 90s and talked about how difficult it was and some of the choices he has made. Volleyball has really changed his life. Another ball
Boy, Troy
sent into the stands from Troy Field.
Yeah, that's what I would love for Troy to understand is just, you know, that's what works. Keep doing it until somebody proves they can stop you.
I mean, that swing's even cooler when you got a 6'8" block in front of you, right?
Absolutely.
High set, open net, and they get it back. The stab from TNT.
But a little looky what I found from Tim Bomgren. Good job by Troy Field in retreat to throw an arm out. Hey, have a look. Bing. Oh, there it is. Just keep it alive. Good things can happen if you keep the ball on your opponent.
Did you just say Bing or Binky?
Oh, that was a Binky indeed.
There's the Binky.
Nicely done.
Hey, that's all you.
Come on, come on. Middle.
Tim Bomgren almost had too much time.
It was a nice defensive scheme from Troy and Tim with that kind of jump into the angle and trying to induce the line shot. You just got to pay that off.
Troy Field, 3 blocks, 2 additional control blocks. A critical part of this beach volleyball game. A little bit of a funky toss there. Gets Paulis out of rhythm on the serve. Two-point lead here for Field and Bomgren, up 1 set in the final match of Friday of the Manhattan Beach Open. TNT take the second set, they'll be moving on to Saturday. Be a little bit of a rush serve there. They had quickly figured out their defensive schematic, and it wasn't more than a second and a half later the serves over the net. Back-to-back missed serves, and the sun starting to bear down on Stadium Court. We've had a bit of cloud cover, and nicely so this afternoon.
Yeah, it's been beautiful all day long. A little marine layer rolling in late. Sun burning its way through though right now.
Not a massive break either. That water's looking real nice right now. Set inside, and honestly, heads-up play from Raffe Paulis. He kind of goes with the split as he falls in order to stay out of the way of Troy Field's feet.
Yeah, that's nicely done from Raffe, and really good vision up there from Troy at the net. Kind of knowing that Raffe was a little compromised, didn't have too many options, and really was disciplined on that line.
I'm wondering if any of Casey Patterson's kids are going to be serving as ball boys shortly. Is that what's already taking place?
Yeah, they're both on Stadium Court here.
Oh, we got to get shots of this. It's a full family affair.
Yeah, you got a guy there with the towel around his neck, and then.
Don't forget, everybody, tomorrow we start at 8 a.m. We'll be in the third round of the winner's bracket to start today here at the MBO before we get more into the Contenders bracket on Survival Saturday.
Move our feet and plant into the ground and jump out.
Local Motion will be with us all weekend. Big thanks to Local Motion, proud partner of the AVP. Local Motion, a woman-owned company.
There's a look at Sean Rosenthal. You mentioned him, the two-time Olympian. He's got his own Manhattan Beach championship. And wow, check that out. Jake Gibb must be up there a couple times.
He absolutely is, as is Rosie there. He's got 2 plaques on the pier. 12 AVP wins, which I would have lost. I would have thought that number was higher. 10 FIVB wins is big, however, and it was really unfortunate that he and Phil both had kind of some injury issues during their partnership, because they were kind of leading towards the 2016 Olympics, #1 team in the world, and then both just got kind of sidetracked at unfortunate times for both of them.
And that's right through the wickets of Troy Field. Paulis and Groselle have got themselves within striking distance here.
Now they just need to find a little range from the service line. They've been going after it, but miss a few too many. I think they have the 1 ace from Raffe that went kind of corner to corner, but that's all they have to show for it.
Line. Yes, Tim.
Tim continuing to side out. I mean, the numbers are quite astonishing from him. 667 in the match. He's 12 of 16 with only 1 error. He's 1 dig away from a double-double, too. That ball hit the sand before Groselle's feet did.
Certainly before Troy Field's feet did. He was on his way up, I think, still, as he was blocking that. Watch this. Troy is just, and he's still going up. Yeah, there you go. I mean, the kid just floats out there. It's unbelievable.
Come on.
Troy Field filled with helium. Groselle having a bit more of difficulty from the offensive standpoint, hitting .095 right now. There's a look at the numbers defensively for Field. Inside set, and it's rhythmic at this point.
Yeah, it really is. And again, you know, not to be a broken record about it, but the lack of service pressure that Paulis and Groselle are able to generate just makes it too easy for TNT to side out.
Yeah, you could be looking at that thinking it's a defensive error, but in all reality, if you're not getting a team out of system, there's just about no way you're finding that point.
Yeah, I think those are Timmy's only 2 errors, the one that he went into the net with in transition and that one.
Tim Bomgren now with 10 total digs. That's more than Groselle and Paulis have combined. Playing it smart right now. Troy Field brings them to match point. Field and Bomgren looking to continue their Manhattan Beach journey.
Yeah, and that's just set up beautifully by all the balls that Troy's detonated along the way, right? So you get kind of dug in as a defender. He can roll it over the top with ease.
Sky ball for the win, and that bad boy is going long.
17-20.
They got plenty of length on it.
Plenty of, I thought you were going to say they have plenty of breathing room, but I'm not a huge fan of that decision, you know.
Troy Field into the angle and into the stands. Moving on to Saturday, Tim Bomgren and Troy Field.
With an exclamation point, right? The showman we billed Troy to be, and he delivered there all the way to the final point.
Still yet to be determined who they will face off with tomorrow in the Contenders bracket. We've still got action going on our outer courts as the Contenders bracket will continue. But for our stadium court coverage, this concludes our first day. Let's take a look at some of the highlights for TNT. That first little back set from Troy Field set it up. You know exactly what you're getting from this duo.
Yeah, they were just too smooth throughout. Troy got in a nice groove blocking, was able to disrupt the offense of Groselle and Paulis. And then again, Big Mike, Raffe weren't able to generate too much service pressure to try and throw TNT off kilter at all.
Well, it actually looks like it has been updated. Field and Bomgren, the 8 seed, will face off against Brewster and Dietrich, the 16 seed. You get a chance to see that out on court 6. Of course, you want to come out and see all of these great AVP pros. Troy Field hanging out with the Bomgren family, all the kiddos. Casey Patterson's kids serving as ball boys for this matchup. The AVP is truly a family. Manhattan Beach is the perfect place for beach volleyball, and especially this weekend. As you can see what's coming up tomorrow, you're not going to want to miss these early matchups as the #1 seed, Taryn Cloth and Kristen Nuss, will face off against the 8 seed. That's Tony Rodriguez as well as Gina Urango. Thanks so much for joining us on this first day of action from the Manhattan Beach Open. Cameron Irwin, Rich Lamborn, Kevin Barnett, and Mark Sherman will be back with you in the morning right here on The Sand.